What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full tier list, every price point, defenders, midfielders, forwards, ranked S through C. So let's get into it, starting with 4.5 million defenders. So we're going to start with our best ranked player here, which is Ayer. He's S tier, 9.46 defensive contributions per 90, the best rate on the whole sheet. Sunderland at home, which is a great fixture. In Gameweek 1 he had 10 defcon, and he kept a clean sheet in a 3-0 win over Spurs. So overall, he's pretty solid. Then moving on to our A-tier options, the Kuiper is the first one of Brighton. At the time of recording, his price hasn't changed, but I'm pretty sure it will change pretty soon. Doesn't really have any defcon. He's played on left wing currently. He got himself an incredible goal and assist in Brighton's opening fixture, 4-0 win over Aston Villa with a clean sheet as well. And Chelsea away is the one fixture that I would avoid him for, but other than that, he's just a great option. So let's get into our second A-tier pick, and it's Thomas of Coventry. His numbers were based on the championship, so that's why I've put a little bit of a asterisk there. Hull at home is the fixture to target. It's mainly for the people that have him for the Bench Boost 2 plan. I'm telling you guys, it's still a good plan. He will probably do well. He did get himself 10 defcon versus Arsenal. They did lose, but still, defcon is pretty solid. He hit the threshold despite the scoreline. Then we move to Justin, Leeds defender, 4.5 million. Yes, I know he's supposed to be the replacement for Goodmanson because Goodmanson's injured. So if you do get him, you're probably just going to have him as a starter for like around 2 game weeks, I think, maybe, if that. And 8.78 defcon per 90, the best GA involvement of the A-tier names at 0.15 last season. I mean, he also had less minutes. Brentford and Newcastle at home both look pretty decent. Brentford is obviously hard, but Newcastle at home, pretty solid. Game week 1, he had 12 defcon, a clean sheet, and yeah, that was a comfortable win, and he got himself 10 points. So now I'm just going to talk about the B tier options. It's nothing special, just a little brief message for each one of them. Coyote at 4.5 million, I think is just not worth it. Yes, he did get a goal, but overall, his defcon isn't great, and he's the same price as Ayer, so I'd rather just go for Ayer for safer floor. Luke Shaw of United is just not an FPL pick. He just doesn't get defcon. He doesn't get attacking threat, and he's probably not even going to get clean sheets. He's just an awful player. The only chance you really have of him doing anything is a clean sheet. That's why he's in B tier. Then Rodon is also not awful because he's away in the Leeds defense, and he's more reliable than Justin because he's going to stay around for longer. But he has a little less defcon per 90. I think he only achieved 7 defcon in the opening fixture, so he isn't excellent. Robinson of Fulham, nothing special again. Not too much defcon. Mitchell of Crystal Palace, he's just mid all around. Nothing stand out, that's why he's in B. And Aina is kind of the same, doesn't have good defcon. He's a decent attacking threat if you want to go there, but everything else is just pretty weak. So moving on to our 5 million options, we don't have anything special here. A tier is the best out of all of them, and Van Heck is the number 1 on the list. 8.89 defcon per 90 last season. Newcastle at home, I think, is a pretty solid fixture, but yeah, in the first game week he got 9 defcon, so he was close to that 10. He didn't get it though, and he didn't get a clean sheet. Obviously, they conceded 3. I think he's a one to watch because I'm pretty sure Spurs might start playing better. Then next on the list we have Maguire. He has the best clean sheet rate out of this bracket. I do expect him to maybe get a clean sheet versus Ipswich. Hopefully he does. But that's really about it. You're kind of just hoping that he gets a clean sheet, maybe a goal contribution. He doesn't really have defcon too much. In game week 1, he only had 4 defcon, no clean sheet, and he lost to Hull. So it was a pretty awful display. I hope they do better. And yeah, I think anyways, in game week 3 and 4, whoever's wildcarding, get him out. I'm not playing him versus City. And then we have another Leeds defender on the list. Biol is the player. Best defcon out of this bracket at 10.65 per 90 last season. His fixtures are pretty neutral. And he had 14 defcon in the first game, which is very, very good. And he also got a clean sheet, so yeah, he got many points in game week 1. And then we move to Silva of Bournemouth. 13 defcon in the first game, which is pretty good, but no clean sheet, and he got booked, and he's a very aggressive player overall, so I do expect yellow cards pretty often. I think at that price, I'd rather go for someone like Biol with for sure Defcon and better defense. And then someone like Tiao at 0.15 clean sheet rate. It's pretty awful, the lowest in the bracket. He did get 15 Defcon in the first game week, which is crazy. But he didn't keep a clean sheet. So if you want to go for him as a Defcon option, you can go there. But I think Newcastle are just a bit unstable currently. He does have a little goal threat as well though. Then Jacquet 3 Defcon in the first game week, and he subbed off in the 70th minute. He had a stinker, to be honest, but I think just Liverpool's defense in general had a stinker, especially the fullbacks. Oh, if I talk about them. Anyways, overall his Defcon was very good last season. We'll see if he's going to be able to apply it this season. I think Araujo being there might affect his minutes. Then we have Muharemovic of Leeds, 7 Defcon. Unfortunately, he didn't get that 10 Defcon. He did get a clean sheet though, and yeah, it is his Premier League debut. I think he will get better Defcon in the next game week, or at least in the upcoming game weeks. I did have him in my team. He got me 6 points, but out of the Leeds defenders, I think he's nothing special, and that's why he sits in B tier. Then we have Richards. He has the least goal threat out of all the players on the list. City at home in game week 2. He did get 16 Defcon in the first game week, which is great, excellent. He has good Defcons, but no clean sheet obviously, and yeah, overall, I don't know how great he's going to be and how great Crystal Palace are going to be. That's why I put him in B. And then our last in the B tier is Hall. 7.15 Defcon per 90 last season. 11 Defcon in the first game week, which is pretty good. But he did concede a penalty for Liverpool's late equalizer. And again, once Newcastle do have those good fixtures, you could go for someone like Hall or Tiao. But for now, it's definitely in the B tier. Then our last player on the list is Ballard in C tier. It's mainly because of the fixtures. Brentford away and Arsenal at home are awful. Fulham at home, he probably will get Defcon and maybe a clean sheet, which I doubt. I don't know if the clean sheet's going to happen, but a Defcon thing can definitely happen. Don't think Sunderland are that good this season, and the fixtures are just pretty bad. Moving on to our 5.5 million options, we have Gvardiol in S tier. Defcon isn't amazing, but he did score in the first game week. He's got 7 Defcon and scored a 90+1 winner. So he has that goal threat from left back, and mainly we're getting him for a chance of clean sheets and attacking threat. That's why I have him in S tier. He's a Man City defender, and he's a cheap way into getting that Man City defense. Then we have Calafiori and White in S tier, both Arsenal defenders. Calafiori is a great attacking threat, only 6 Defcon, but he did get an assist in the 15th minute and a clean sheet. Ben White also got an assist and a clean sheet. When Timber comes back, Ben White is going to be the second option. He's not going to be the main option like he is right now. On the other hand, Calafiori is going to be the starter. I don't think Hincapie is going to be replacing him. So I think Calafiori slightly edges White as the better Arsenal pick. Then we have Collins, Brentford defender, but I think at this price, I'd rather go for someone cheaper like Ayer for Defcon and clean sheet chances, because Collins only had 4 Defcon in the first game, and yeah, in my opinion, that's not good enough. And then we have Frimpong. His Defcon is obviously awful. He's just going to be a reliable starter, and overall, the only thing he really has is attacking threat at best, but he also got booked in the first game week. He only had 3 Defcon. Yeah, he's just not a great pick. I'm surprised I didn't put him in C tier, but there are chances of attacking threat and maybe clean sheet. Then we have Hill. Did get a price bump this season. He has no attacking threat. He has pretty good Defcon, and in the first game week he only got 6 Defcon unfortunately and no clean sheet. In my opinion, he's just a B tier because the other 5.5 million options are better, like an Arsenal defender or even a Gvardiol. Then Branthwaite of Everton. I think he's just not the best Everton defender. I think if you're going to go for an Everton defender, go for Tarkowski, which is just 0.5 more expensive. He did have 8 Defcon in the first game week, so his Defcon wasn't too shabby, but I don't know. I think at that price, I'd rather go for Tarkowski that almost has guaranteed Defcon. Then Pedro Porro did get rotated in the first game, did get rested in the first game week, so he didn't play. I'm not sure if he's going to start in game week 2. We'll have to see. Maybe he does. But again, overall, I don't know how amazing he's going to be. He doesn't have great Defcon. He does have a little bit of attacking threat, but that's really about it. Then Reece James, he's an excellent football player, but in FPL, he's not a great pick. His Defcon is pretty low. Arsenal away in game week 3, 6 Defcon in the first game week, no clean sheet, and he got booked, so maybe he does have that good attacking threat, but that's really the most he offers. And the last player on the list is Trufer of Bournemouth, C tier, because I think there's really no point of going for him. Why would you pay 5.5 million for someone like him when there's players like Hill that have guaranteed defcon, safe floors, or players like Calafiori, White, Gvardiol, and even anyone else on the list? There's a reason he is in C tier. Moving on to our expensive premium defenders. First up on the list is Gabriel. Best clean sheet rate in this bracket, backed by a pretty strong defcon as well. He has 2 good fixtures, I'd say. He only had 4 defcon in the first game, and he did get booked, so unfortunately he only got 5 points. He was the worst Arsenal defender out of all of them, but overall I think that's going to change. He even has a little bit of goal threat to add to it. Another S tier option is Van Dijk. Best defcon from the S tier names at 9.26 per 90. His fixtures look pretty solid, and he did get 12 defcon in the first game, but unfortunately he got booked, so he didn't really get points for it. Then moving on to A tier, we have O'Reilly and Gay. O'Reilly being the more attacking and a little more expensive player. Obviously he has no defcon, but he was played as a cam in the first game week, which is very interesting. He got subbed off in the 63rd minute, but he didn't really play too well. We'll have to see if he actually plays cam and does deliver. He might be a great option. Then Gay on the other side is the more defensive option, and he's at a cheaper price. I think he's just overall the better option. His defcon is not perfect, but it's still pretty decent. He actually did score an 84th minute equalizer in the first game week, so yeah, he also has that goal threat. Then our last player in the A tier is Lacroix. Best defcon out of all the A tier names. He had 10.8 last season. Problem is he does have Arsenal away in game week 3, but I think he's definitely a strong choice. 12 defcon in the first game, and he also got an assist in the 41st minute. Definitely keep an eye out on him. Then our B tier options are Tarkowski. He does have defcon, but at that price range you can get someone like Gay. And Matheus Nunes is just the worst out of the Man City defenders. I'd rather just go for Gay if you're paying 6 million. And then our 3 C tier options are Senesi. He did play the first game week, but it's because Van de Ven was injured. And he did achieve defcon, but that's about it. He's not going to be playing reliably. Timber's still out, and Saliba still out, so both those options are just fully unavailable. Moving on to the midfielders, we start with the 5.5 million options, and the only S tier in this category is Sangare. His numbers are incredible. 14 defcon per 90 last season. He assisted Lewis Potter's opener on his debut, and he achieved defcon and got a clean sheet, so what a dream game for him. Overall, I think he is definitely the best pick, especially before price changes. Then Wharton of Crystal Palace is pretty decent. I don't think people are looking at him enough. He has good defcon. He does have City at home in game week 2, which is the red fixture, but then the fixtures get better. I do have him as a very safe floor pick. Then Gross and Gomez both have their positives. Gomez is playing on the wing for now, and he's doing pretty well. Got an assist in the opener. And Gross is just a penalty taker and a set piece taker. I'm not sure for sure about the penalties because they did sign a new striker. So when he starts playing, I don't know if Gross is going to keep them. But overall, it's a good route into Brighton midfield. Then Granit Xhaka is another A tier option. 5.5 million is the price. It is a mistake in design here. Good defcon per 90. He did get an assist in the opener, and he got himself, I think, 9 points. No clean sheet, obviously. I wouldn't necessarily go for him out of the 5.5 million options, but I think he's definitely still an A tier option just because of defcon, assist chances, and just being kind of the leader in this Sunderland team. Ampadu has nothing special. Great defcon, but no real goal threat, and he's a simple defcon choice, nothing special. Then Enciso, on the other hand, is an exciting attacker. He contributed in the first game week versus Sunderland. I have him in B tier because he's a very risky differential if you want to go for him. But yeah, the only reason I'll go for him is if you're trying to get a low-owned player that might get a goal or an assist. That's the only thing you can get for him. Then our last player in the B tier is Caicedo of Chelsea. He does have good defcon. A little bit of attacking threat, but the main reason I have him in B is because he didn't start the first game week, and I'm not sure how minutes are going to be for now, and even if they get good, he has Arsenal away in game week 3. For now, I wouldn't go for him, but maybe at some point you can go for him as a defcon option. Next one up is Tonali, Tottenham's midfielder, has decent defcon, but has pretty much 0 goal threat, the lowest on the list, and in the opening fixture he really did nothing. I think he's just not an FPL pick in my opinion. And same as Iwobi, he was playing deeper this season. Yeah, he just has nothing that can give him real FPL points. Then the next price category is 6 million for the midfielders. We have 3 S tier in my opinion. Hinshelwood is the first lowest defcon out of the 3 S tier names. But he's 0.47 goals and assists per 90, show the attacking upside. Chelsea away is the fixture to avoid. But in game week 1, he got a brace in a 2-minute spell, which is a very insane stat. Our next in the S tier is Ndiaye, 9.16 defcon per 90, which is a very strong floor. Two of these three fixtures aren't great in my opinion, but in game week 1 he assisted Barry's goal, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more contributions. Only concern is Man City are linked to him, so there's a chance he goes away. Then we have Stack. He has the best DEFCON in this bracket. His fixtures are neutral. In game week 1 he scored an 88th minute free kick winner, and yeah, that's just great. He achieved DEFCON and scored a free kick, which also shows that he has set pieces. I think he's just a very safe pick and the best Leeds midfielder. Tavernier is the next in A tier. Got himself a goal, and there's just not much to say. These fixtures are neutral. Just a pretty solid pick. Then we have Shade of Brentford. I'm only concerned with this guy is that he's pretty inconsistent. Good GA per 90. Sunderland is a good fixture. He could probably contribute in Leeds as well. Yeah, the problem with him is the chance of him blanking, which is pretty high. Then we have Enzo Lefebvre of Sunderland, penalty taker. Fulham at home is a good game. Other than that, he has nothing going for him. Brentford away and Arsenal at home are both pretty bad fixtures, and he didn't really look too good in game week 1, and overall Sunderland didn't really look too good. So I would kind of look at him as more of a B tier if he didn't have the penalties. Then we have two Tottenham players, Fernandes and Tell. Fernandes didn't play the first game, and there's a chance that he gets rotated or that he doesn't really play. Good DEFCON and decent goal threat. He's just a better Tonali. That's about it. Tell plays on the left wing. He does seem like he's the best goal threat out of anyone in that Tottenham attack. But Savinho transferred, and same for Marmoush. So I think the attack is going to be stronger, and there's a chance he actually does pretty decent. That's why I put him in B tier. And then we have Aston Villa's Buendia. He would be higher on the list because he does have penalties and I think set pieces. But Aston Villa look atrocious in my opinion, so I would definitely avoid any Aston Villa assets. And then Kluivert is just the worst Tavernier. His underlying numbers aren't great, and I think Tavernier is just a better choice for that price. Moving to the 6.5 million midfielders, we start out with one of the best FPL picks this year. It's Zolis. I have him in my team. He got me 6 points in game week 1 with an FPL assist. His GA last season was incredible, 1.17 in the Belgian league. I think there's not much wrong with this guy, and his fixtures look excellent. At 6.5 million, he's a steal. Then we also have Szoboszlai, penalty taker for Liverpool. He got a penalty late in Liverpool's game and he scored it, got himself 8 points. That's pretty solid DEFCON, and I think he's just a key part of that Liverpool team, and I think that he's going to be a very safe pick this season, especially for that price. And another S tier pick is Odegaard. Only concern with him is minutes. Not sure if he's going to be starting all the time. Bruno Guimaraes is going to come back in the team. Eze is there for competition. He's the captain, and he did get a goal in game week 1. And for now, I think he's a safe pick, but we'll just have to see. Gakpo was looking like a great choice, and I had him in S tier, and then I dropped him down, realizing that they are getting Barcola. A tier is what I have him on the graphic, but I think Barcola is on his way. Just an avoid if Barcola comes. Anderson is next up. Obviously a DEFCON beast at 13.9 last season. He actually did have pretty good DEFCON in the first game, but he limped off and injured in the 63rd minute. I still do think he's going to be a good DEFCON option. I just don't think for the price I would want to settle for just 4 points. And then the last player in the A tier is Dewsbury Hall. If his fixtures were looking better, I'd put him way higher on the list because his goal threat is incredible, 0.51 GA per 90. He scored in his opening game. It was a great goal as well. When the fixtures look better for Everton, I'd pick him up, but for now he's at an A tier as a good option. Moving on to our B tier, Foden is the first one. At 7 mil, I think it's just not worth it. He hasn't shown consistency. In game week 1, he really didn't show anything. And at that price, I'd rather go for a safe pick like Szoboszlai. And then our last two B picks are Dango and Ryan. Both share similar traits. They're both great on their day, but they're pretty inconsistent and their fixtures aren't amazing. I think Dango could definitely get some returns, especially in that Sunderland fixture, but Ryan on the other hand has a little bit harder schedule. And last on the list is Enzo Fernandez. He's at a C tier because it seems like he's going to be moving away to Man City, so for now he's definitely an avoid. Moving on to the premium midfielders, Cole Palmer is our first in the S tier. 0.55 GA per 90, and he had a great opening fixture versus Fulham, a goal and an assist, and he was looking like he's back to his prime. I think he's a no-brainer. The only problem is that Arsenal fixture, but other than that, I think he's going to be cooking. Then the only other S tier option is Bruno Fernandes. Yes, he didn't start out too well in game week 1, actually started out awful, but I do think at some point he's going to start getting his contributions again, and Ipswich may well be that one game. Then we have Bukayo Saka at A tier. He'd be an S tier. He's just well-rounded across the board, but rotation risk is a problem. They actually have Champions League football unlike Chelsea, so Palmer is settled as a starter and his minutes will be good. Saka on the other hand does have to be managed pretty well. Wirtz is another A tier option. 7.5 million might be a bit pricey if you compare him to Szoboszlai, but I do think at some point he's going to start cooking. And Nottingham Forest at home, Ipswich away, and Fulham at home are all great fixtures for someone like Wirtz to shine. Mbeumo was another route to Man United's attack. He did have 0.48 GA per 90, so similar to Palmer and better than Wirtz. And he didn't start the season well at all, but I think he can bounce back just like Bruno Fernandes. Then Semenyo is another great option. 8.5 million is the only concern. He's a bit pricey for what he offers, especially with Man City being a little bit shakier this season. We'll have to see what those games, Crystal Palace away and Coventry at home, look like. Then we have Morgan Rogers, great route into that Chelsea team at 7.5 million. I think he's just a cheaper Palmer that offers slightly less, not too much less, but just because Palmer has penalties, he is above him, obviously. And I think it's a no-brainer if you want to go with a Chelsea route. Moving on to our B tier options, Cherki is number one. If he plays, he plays. He got himself 2 assists off the bench last time, but the problem is he doesn't look like he's a starter for some reason. At some point he might actually turn into a starter. We'll just have to see what Maresca decides. Gibbs White is another player I don't love too much at 8 million. Liverpool away doesn't seem like a great fixture, and he definitely has those patches where he plays incredibly well, but I don't know when that's going to be, and I wouldn't risk going 8 million for someone like that. Then we have Declan Rice. He has huge rotation risk because he has chronic back issues. And yes, he is a decent pick for DEFCON. He has the free kicks, but I don't know how safe that is, especially for 7.5 million. Now we move to the forwards and we start with the cheap ones. Nothing special to talk about here. The only S tier option we have is Calvert-Lewin. Neutral fixtures, penalty taker, and overall he just has pretty decent goals and assists per 90. Then we have Gonzalo of Fulham. He scored a goal versus Chelsea in his debut. He has Sunderland away, which I think is pretty good for him. And then Crystal Palace at home. All games where he can definitely score in. Then we have Barry, one of my favorite picks. He's almost an S tier, but those fixtures do kind of shine me away from that. He started the season very well with a goal, and I think overall he's looking like the main man for Everton. Then we move to our first B tier options, Evan Nilsson being the first. I think it's mainly the price and the fixtures that kind of make me look away. He did get an assist in the first game week, but if you compare him to Gonzalo, Barry, and Calvert-Lewin, I think there's just no point of going for him. And same for Wissa. I think he's not a bad pick. He played very well for Newcastle. He got himself an assist. But then again, at that price and those fixtures, I think there's better options. Brobbey is next up. Sunderland just don't look that good this season, especially their attack. And he's just overall an inconsistent striker. So I don't think he's worth going for, especially only having Fulham as his good fixture and the rest of them being bad. Then the last 2 B tier options are Igor Jesus, which is getting replaced probably by Liam Delap, or at least can have competition. Liam Delap, Wood, and Igor Jesus, 3 strikers. I think it's going to be hard for his minutes. Then Emerson of Ipswich is just a cheeky little differential if you want to go down the Ipswich route for a risky pick. And then our 2 C tier picks are Jorginho of Brighton. New striker Promise David is looking to replace him, and anyways Jorginho plays deeper, so even in the games he has left he won't really contribute too much. Might get himself an assist like in Gameweek 1. And then we have Solanke. Richarlison is there, and also Marmoush just came in as a new big transfer, so I doubt Solanke is going to be on the top of the pecking order. And last but not least, it's the premium forwards. We start with Haaland. We know who he is. We know he has penalties. He has a good record versus Crystal Palace, and then he has Coventry to play. I think it's excellent fixtures for him, so get ready to get some hat tricks from Haaland. And João Pedro is the second S tier option. He doesn't have penalties, but he's just so reliable and such a safe pick. He got himself 11 points in Gameweek 1, and I think there's going to be an imminent price change in him, so get him before that happens. Then our A tier options, Isak is the first one for Liverpool. He didn't look amazing in Gameweek 1, but I still think that those 3 fixtures coming up are perfect for him to get a couple of contributions. Then we have Havertz. Not sure if he's going to be the starter for sure the entire season. Gyökeres is still there. If he's going to be the starter, I think he's an A tier pick. He's going to be the main man in that Arsenal striker position. Then we have Igor Thiago. People forget he's on penalties, and yes, he did miss a penalty in Gameweek 1, but as you can see, he gets those opportunities often, and he's just, yes, a boring pick, and he doesn't play when the TV is on, but he's definitely going to get you some points in the upcoming game weeks. Moving on to our only B tier option, Marmoush, newly transferred. I think he's going to have rotation risk, but when he starts firing, he's definitely going to start firing. He's going to be getting goals left and right, and he's going to be a great FPL pick at some point. Moving on to the worst players, we're going to start with Watkins. I think he's already left Aston Villa, and Mateta is also looking like he wants to leave, or at least doesn't really want to play. And then Gyökeres is just a huge rotation risk. He didn't play in game week 1, or maybe he got subbed in. And then same for Šeško. He just doesn't look like he's going to be a starter, or he just came back from an injury, so we'll have to see. But those are definitely avoids for now. And that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tier list video. I had to cover all the positions. It took me a while to edit this and also bring up all the data for all these players. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and comment down below if you enjoyed it, and see you guys in the next one.